Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. My life sucks. I'm so sick of this playoff. I'm so sick of this playoff. And we're going to talk all about it. Welcome in, Stadium Pulse, Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network. On a Friday, what you're going to hear for the next hour, I'm going to try my best to keep it from being everything but a cope. A losing fan rambling. That's what I'm going to try to keep it away from. But I'm afraid that I already know that I'm probably not going to be all that successful. Stadium Pulse, we talked college football. We talked 5 teams. You guys know it. Florida, Georgia, UCF, Miami, and FSU. And obviously on a day like today, on a morning like this morning after a night like last night, obviously you can see exactly what we're going to be talking about today. I thought about changing, but then again, I thought that was a stupid decision. You know what? Why would I? Why would I? I'm going to wear it. I'm going to sit in it. I'm going to sit in it like any good fan would. The Dawgs lose 39-34 to Ole Miss last night in the Sugar Bowl. And let me just start here. Going into the game, I thought, look, I mean, yeah, you beat them once already. I don't know if that really matters. It's a different team. And teams with extracurricular, off-the-field motivations, they play weird. And they play different. And perhaps no team in the college football playoff this year had more of a motivation or more off-the-field stuff. Different, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of factors and variables. They don't miss it. Obviously, with all the Lane Kiffin and Pete Golding stuff, a new head coach, they're without their primary play caller, at least the guy who is talking to Trinidad at all times. At all times in the headset before 15 seconds goes up. So when you have a team like that, it's just going to be weird. So going into the game, I'm a little nervous. Okay? And I know how good of a team Ole Miss is. And, excuse me for that voice crack there. It's been a long, I haven't slept since the game. I was yelling at the TV, so please forgive me. Look, you're up 9.5, and you've been running the ball great, Georgia. But it just felt different. And look, we're going to get to the decisions from Kirby Smart, and we're going to hear from him in a second. I'm going to play that for you. So I want you to hear it straight from his mouth, his explanation on all that stuff. But going into the half, you felt confident knowing that you got past those clunky first 2 drives. And those first clunky 2 drives, that looked like every other team that had a bye. And we're going to get to the rest of the playoff again at the second half of the show. But, guys, teams with a bye week are 1-7 in the 12-team playoff era. 1-7. Indiana's the only team to win. Texas Tech, terrible. We'll talk about it. Alabama. Or excuse me, not Alabama. Holy cow, drawing a blank because I'm so locked in on Georgia. Georgia, obviously, one of those teams. Ohio State, terrible on offense. And, I mean, that's what you get. You got that in the first 2 drives for Georgia. And they finally start to get rolling. Nate Frazier is running it for 7 a pop. And you're like, all right, we should be able to do this every drive. What's stopping this, right? And so, again, yeah, you're up 9.5 and you feel comfortable. But at the end of the day, it's a little weird because you're not used to be You're not used to that situation. Normally, you're the team that's down. Like Pete Golding referenced, it was an exact flip from the first time these two teams met when Georgia was down 9 at half. But nonetheless, you felt good, and then you come out for the second half, you get the ball. If you score there, you're up 16. Gosh, you're comfortable. You go 3 and out to start the half, and then they go right down the field and score. So right then, that's a 2-point game. And so many different plays were made and not made. I mean, everything from the 2-point conversion where Dalen Everett just stops playing. That's a huge play. And, I mean, I guess let's just get down to the plays that everybody's talking about. So with 9 minutes to go, first of all, give Kirby all the credit in the world for the first fake punt. Worked to perfection. And he's been insanely ballsy with stuff like this all year. Obviously, he did something similar in the SEC championship. So give him all the credit in the world, completing that to Lawson Lucky, rolling the dice there, buying you that possession, and at a time when you needed it. Because like you'll hear him say, you were losing the momentum, even though you were still in the lead. And obviously you go down and get points on that drive to go up 5, which is very important. But obviously everything's been made about, well, with 9 minutes to go, an absolute debacle. So if you haven't watched Georgia, you wouldn't know. But if you have, you would have seen this multiple times. They put the punt unit on there, and then with about 15, 18 seconds left to go on the play clock, they run the entire unit off and run the offense right back on. And that's the whole thing to get the defense in a panic. Clap it, hard count it, try to get them off sides. Georgia's done this multiple times this year, and it's been successful. It's never been to actually run a play. That's never been the intention. So when they do this in live time, I'm like, all right, well, I would assume as the offense is running back on the field, I'm thinking certainly Ole Miss has seen this multiple times on tape. They won't jump. We'll take the delay and we'll kick it off. No harm, no foul. And then the ball gets snapped, and our left tackle, Monroe Freeling, unbelievable player and played great yesterday, doesn't even play this play. DN runs right by him. So the play gets blown up, Gunner gets sacked, fumble, whatever, and that leads to Ole Miss going up 10 points. Well, I don't think it was supposed to happen. I said I never thought that ball was going to be snapped, and Kirby affirmed that. We'll hear that in just a second. And then I'm going to pair that with down at the goal line at the end of the day, you had, well, let me just go straight to the time management aspect of it. With about a minute left, you've got the ball, 3rd and goal at the 5.5. And you throw an incompletion. Well, if you score that whole drive, you're thinking, well, we've got to score a touchdown, Georgia. Because if we don't, and it's tied, they'll go down easily and kick a field goal, and that'll be it. I mean, their kicker, holy cow. I mean, I thought Georgia had a good kicker, and they do. I had no idea Ole Miss had that in the special teams unit. I guess he didn't kick a long one in the first matchup, or else I would have known, but I had no idea. And all credit to him. But anyway, so you're thinking that you have to score a touchdown. But when it's 3rd and goal, right, at the 6, and you had just gone backwards, man, that killed you. So now the only thing you really can't have is an incompletion at that point. First down, you're thinking score. Second down, you're thinking score. The 3rd down, and you've gone backwards to the 5.5. If you score a touchdown, golden. Ole Miss has 50 seconds to score a touchdown, or you win. If not, you don't score a touchdown, you at least have to chew the clock. That's the second best option. Because if at any point you're tackled in bounds, Ole Miss doesn't have any timeouts. That means you're kicking a field goal with 18, 19, 20 seconds left in the game. By the time to kick off all that stuff, Ole Miss has 12 seconds probably to kick a field goal and tie it, to win, or else you go to overtime. Well, the third option is you throw an incomplete pass on 3rd and goal, and now you're kicking the field goal to tie and leaving 50 seconds on the clock. So, there's an easy explanation for it. I'm going to combine that with the thought behind the debacle at the 9.5 minute mark with the fake punt, with going for it and the snap. Kirby says, well, you'll hear it for yourself. Here's Kirby after the game.
We wanted to score a touchdown. I think we were on the 3 or 4. We wanted to score and win. The book says go win the game. We talked about it in between. I talked about calling a timeout, run it. They don't have timeouts, ease the clock down. You're playing for a tie doing that, right? And I just don't believe in playing for a tie. I had to go for a tie after we didn't complete it, but we knew we were going to leave them time on the clock. We felt like defensively we were playing well, and to be honest with you, it was a 2-point play to win the Sugar Bowl, or at least have a chance to win the Sugar Bowl, because they would have got the ball back. But I feel really good about that. I didn't want to, run it. We ran it on 2nd, thinking that we could do it, and they got a look, and Gunner did a good job checking that run.
We'll go to the left side, second row.
Yeah, Kirby, I think that was early in the 4th quarter when you guys had the punt team on, ran them off, put the offense on. What was the thinking there, particularly snapping the ball and trying to convert on that 4th down?
Yeah, we screwed that up a little bit. We had a misfire there. It was a change up from the look we had done twice, and we knew teams were going to sit back and not honor us because we had not snapped it on those plays in 2 different locations, 2 different times, and the ball was not supposed to be snapped in that situation. But that was on us as coaches. It was on me and our guys. It's not on the players, and Gunner and those guys did a nice job executing it. But we did feel like we had lost momentum at that point, and the book says we needed to go for it. There's probably another way I would like to have gone for it, but we did not execute the situation really well there. It was a situation where it gave us an either or. We didn't have to snap it. We could take a delay. We could sit back and see what happened just to take a chance.
So there's Kirby. Yeah, I don't believe the ball was supposed to. I believe him when he says the ball wasn't supposed to be snapped, and he's doing his best. He's tiptoeing around there because he's trying not to throw anybody in the bus, whether that's the center, whether that's Gunner, who knows. But yeah, I don't believe the ball was supposed to be snapped, and I believe Kirby was trying to just draw him offside, take a delay of game, punt the football. And then in the other situation, yeah, you got to go for the win. I get it, but gosh, you just couldn't have an incompletion there, man. Whether it's, I get it if you didn't want to run it on 3rd and 5.5 at the goal line, but maybe a screen, or maybe, the ball's got to be at the tight ends. We got to get if I'm in the headset, and I know, all of this stuff happens so fast, but it's like I need a 90% completion throw. And if we get tackled at the 2, we get tackled at the 2. But make sure it's in a playmaker's hand, and if he makes a guy miss or 2, we're in the end zone. If not, it's guaranteed overtime. But at the end of the day, you had it 2nd and goal at the 2.5, and you went backwards. Those are the 2 biggest plays in the game. There were a ton, and we got to get to, all the hat tip to Trinidad Chambliss. Unbelievable player. He was the best player on the field, and sometimes you're just going to lose to that. And that sucks, because it's like, well, we had some pretty good players too, and Gunner played out of his mind and played his butt off, and just a gutsy performance. Love watching Gunner play, and part of me is just sad that I don't get to watch Gunner suit up in red and black again this year. But the game came down to 2 plays. You had it 2nd and goal at the 2, and you went backwards because you had a bust on the offensive line. A 3-yard loss at the goal line. You can't have that in the red zone with a minute to play. And then 3rd and 5, when the game is tied, man-to-man, cover 1 with no safety help, where Trinidad can just throw it up to a receiver on DeMelo Jones, who's played out of his mind, but he's still a real young and inexperienced corner. That's the look that we're going to put out there? Really? Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. The hat was spiked so fast. When the ball hadn't even been caught. Trust me. When the camera panned, the ball had been thrown by Trinidad on 3rd and 5. That was it. He had a step, a great ball. Trinidad wasn't missing that. It's a layup for him in a game like that. When he's that hot, it's a layup. Turns into a 50-freaking-yard play. All you have to do there is keep them in front. If you surrender a first down, so what? And Kirby, after the game, I'm not going to play you this, but he talked about, well, we thought they might run the football or just check it down and try to chew clock or get the ball back and all this stuff. I'm like, dude, who cares? If I'm him, I'm doing what Pete Golding was doing to you all game. Drop 8. Instead, they blitz. Or at least pressure. I don't know if it was 5 or 6. I'm guessing 5, but it could have been 6. But they bring heat and leave everybody man-to-man on the outside with no safety help. I mean, and that's your season. And that's your season. After all of this, you win 8 in a row. Gosh. I get it. You have all the confidence in the world in your corners, but, just let them check the football down. Let them check the football down. For 7 yards, get a first down, and there's 30 seconds. There's probably 22 seconds left. They still got to get 30 yards to get their great kicker in position. That one felt, guys, that one felt just about like Dobbs' Hail Mary, Tennessee, Georgia, way back when. That completion. 55 yards or whatever it was. That was it. Their kicker wasn't missing. What are we doing? So just like that, your season's over. And it's going to be incredibly frustrating because, on paper, you should have won that football game. The plays were right there. And now a 12-win season is, it's hard for me to say. Down the drain, it's just because SEC championships don't really matter as much anymore. We all know that. That wasn't the goal. And the guys, especially, we're going to look back. I'm going to look back with Ohio State having lost and Miami was in your way to go to the national championship. Oh, what a missed opportunity. Ohio State goes down. You wouldn't have even had to play them. And that's it. So, what were Gunner's final numbers? 18-31 for 203 and a touchdown. Nate Frazier ran the ball great. Gunner had 13 carries for 20 yards. If I have one complaint, it was a little bit too much quarterback draw. It was not as aggressive enough. Sometimes on first down, I thought they were too aggressive because it led to 2nd and 10s, and then you want to run the football, then you get 5-6 yards. There's a great run, but then you're signing up for 3rd and 4. There weren't a lot of good completions over the middle on first down. Where were the 10 to 15 yard completions on first down over the middle? Those deep overs and those digs. It didn't exist. You didn't get your tight ends involved at all. You ran it the first play of the game to Delp, and it was great. You picked up a first down on the first play of the game. Other than the lucky catch on the fake punt, which obviously wasn't from your quarterback, I don't remember another completion to a tight end off the top of my head. Let me see. Yeah, Lucky had one and Delp had one. What are we doing? And I'm the biggest Bobo defender there is. But what is that? Seriously? Lucky has one catch and Delp has one catch. Those are your biggest weapons. Outside of Zach Branch, who they did a decent job bottling it up. He still had it 67 yards and a touchdown. But you knew Ole Miss was not going to let Branch beat him. He still did well. But you got Colby Young back, which was awesome to see. He had a diving play that was awesome. Hat tip to him for even wanting to come back. A lot of people would have just said, I'll see you at the draft or the combine. But yeah, that's Georgia's season. And, you know, one more point before we get to a break. I know I'm rambling, and I want to get to these other games. Look, when Georgia won its first, this is my personal fandom here. When Georgia won its first title of my lifetime in 21, the first one, obviously, against Alabama. Nobody had to tell me to enjoy it. Every team that I'd ever followed I don't even have to mention the Jags, but specifically the Braves and the Dawgs had been on the doorstep so many times and never won. Crushing losses, unbelievable losses in the NLCS Braves-wise, in the SEC Championship Georgia-wise. So nobody had to tell me to enjoy it. It was euphoric. It was amazing. It was one of the best days. The second one, the year after against TCU, obviously it wasn't much of a game, so you had so much more time to soak that in as far as during the game. The first one is such a shock, and you never believed that Georgia was going to win that game until Keely Ringo intercepts the ball, really, because it was Bama. We're not beating Bama. But the next year, obviously you had so much time, but it was also, you won 2 in a row. I think everyone, at least I was telling myself, hey, still enjoy this as if you're never going to win another one. As if Georgia will never win another national championship, because you don't know. And at that time, obviously, that's the last thing you're thinking. You won 2 in a row. Why would Georgia not continue to win national championships? Well, look, we knew the playoff was expanding. It's tough, man. It's tough. And that's not an excuse. But it's just hard to, there is no more national championship or bust. And we knew that. I knew that. But as soon as this thing goes to 12 teams, that's why in baseball, you can't say World Series or bust, really, because it's baseball. You know how many games you have to win to get there, to win it? Against great teams, how many things have to go right? Oftentimes, it's just the hot team. Look at the Braves when they won it. The team sucked for half the year. They got hot. Now, we're never going to have a true Cinderella anything of the sorts in college football, but it is going to be more so the team that's got the mojo, got hot. Look at Ohio State last year. They were the best team in the country, no doubt, but they were also the hot team. They had all the motivation coming off the Michigan loss. They wouldn't do that, what they did to Oregon last year, majority of the time, but things were just clicking. And then the national championship at that point was, forget about it. So I don't even know what I'm saying, to be honest with you. If you're listening to me rambling, I really appreciate it. I'm just a freaking Georgia fan who's down in the dumps. And I can't believe that I have to wait 9 months to watch this football team again. It's terrible. But it is what it is. Ole Miss against Miami, Oregon against Indiana. I'm going to break down all the other games, and we'll have some thoughts on the playoff as a whole, and as we get into next week's Thursday and Friday's matchups in the semifinal. That's ahead. Appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you hanging out with us on a Friday. We'll be right back on Stadium Pulse.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models, or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway, or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnicht, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnicht Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnicht has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness. The most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnicht. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnicht. GMC. We are professional grade.
There's a saying in sports, you can't win them all, but you can win a lot with good folks on your team. Like that one painter, First Coast. It's tough to beat the sun in Florida, so your home fades. It's tough to beat that HOA when they come calling. Beat the sun, beat the HOA with that one painter, First Coast. And it's a good time to do it. Less rain to work around, and painting in mild temperatures is perfect. After all, the paint bonds to the surface so much better. Give that one painter First Coast a call at 904-417-3557 or look them up at first-coast.thatonepainter.com. Fast estimate, guidance on color and HOA requirements, and the highest quality job you'll find anywhere. Be a big winner in your neighborhood with that one painter First Coast on your team.
It's one of the hot spots in the area.
Welcome you to String Sports Brewery out at the beach. Big crowd on hand tonight. The fans are here.
And now, the newest hot spot at the beach is open. String Sports Brewery in Jacks Beach has opened its doors with rave reviews.
We're going to be fans forever.
Cozy up to the bar. Grab a seat in the sports-themed restaurant, or grab a seat outside and feel that breeze coming off the beach as the weather warms. Just like the original location in Springfield, try the popular beer menu and come for lunch or dinner too, because the food is fantastic.
We got a special guest in the house. He's happy. He's feeling good. He's Trayvon Walker.
It's where we hosted Jags Report Live in the football season, and the String Sports Brewery staff can't wait to host you. Hey, welcome back here to String Sports Brewery. And if you haven't checked out the new location in Jacks Beach, you got to do it. String Sports Brewery, now with 2 locations in Springfield and now open in Jacks Beach on Penman Road.
Hi, I'm Greg Mackey from Cycles of Jacksonville. Whether you're looking for a side-by-side, ATV, motorcycle, or scooter, Honda has what you need.
The Honda Talon. Ultimate performance meets family-friendly fun. Prices starting at $363 a month. Or the sporty Honda CBR 650 starting at an affordable $204 a month.
Stop by and choose your adventure from a full line of Honda products. Only at Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic Boulevard. Family owned and operated since 1983.
Hello, I'm Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Since 2003, our firm has fought exclusively for the rights of men in family law. Divorce, modification of child support, alimony, custody, and more, all for men. A father is vitally important to a child's life, and being a man is not a reason to pay more in child support or alimony. I'm a single father. I get it. If you have a divorce or other family law issue, contact Kenny Lay & Associates at divorcemenonly.com.
CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing is taking their 75-plus years of expertise and expanding to CGC Home Services. Water treatment and plumbing is still a big part of what they do, and now they can do even more for you. Home services like kitchen and bathroom remodeling, showers, sinks, faucets, toilet repair, backflow testing, and the list keeps going. Find all they can do at cgchomeservices.com or give them a call, 904-298-7052. It's a new look and a new name with the same expertise. They've been serving homes like yours since 1946. CGC Home Services, right here in Jacksonville off St. John's Bluff Road, 904-298-7052. And visit cgchomeservices.com. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Welcome back. Stadium Pulse on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network on a Friday. Man, I want to get to these other games, but I'm not ready yet. Guys. What it would have been for the Dawgs to have faced Miami and Carson Beck in the semifinal of a college football playoff. The storylines, man. They write themselves in a game like that. That would have been incredible. At the same time, maybe Ole Miss just did us a favor. Because now that I think about it, this sucks, losing to Ole Miss. But losing to Miami, losing to Carson Beck, your former quarterback, that would have been unbearable. That would have been unbearable. This sucks here. Shoot, there ain't no way of knowing, but Ole Miss might have just done us a favor. They're about as likable as a college football team that exists right now. They're America's team. Everybody rooting for them. Screw Lane Kiffin, everybody say it. Not me. Not me. Everybody's saying that. How could you leave? Everybody's wondering how it feels for Lane to watch his former team go to a quarterfinal. And how much interesting will it be in years to come if Lane fails to get to a quarterfinal? That's neither here nor there. But at least Ole Miss is likable. Like at this point now, with the 4 teams that you see on your screen left in this thing, Oregon, Indiana, Ole Miss, and Miami, I would assume that a lot of people are rooting for Indiana because it's a really cool story. It is. And we're going to get to them in just a second. But me, I'm rooting for Ole Miss. I'm rooting for Pete Golding. Rooting for Trinidad. But if it would have been your season that gets ended by Carson Beck in Miami, nope. Cancel the show. We'll see y'all in the fall. Nope. Wouldn't have been a show. I'm just saying, it wouldn't have been a show. Not because we lost, because we lost to them, to Beck. No. I do feel like Georgia would have handled Miami, though. I got to say it. I got to say that. But at the end of the day, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So where do we go from here? Let's talk about the other games in this playoff. You know, I tweeted before Georgia played that I figured, and this wasn't anything crazy, I figured it was going to be a really, really, really good game. And I think I said, we know that because, look, you go through the other games. On Thursday night, Miami, Ohio State, it wasn't really all that close. Now, it wasn't a blowout by any means, nothing compared to Indiana and Alabama. But Miami and Ohio State never really felt like a nail-biter by any means. Miami was in control the entire game. And why is that? Miami could run the football. Ohio State could not. Well, then you go to Texas Tech and Oregon. Oregon could run the football. Texas Tech could not. The 4 o'clock window. Indiana could run the football. Alabama could not at all. And you had 3 blowouts. I mean, just look at. Let me just run through this with you. All right, here it is. If you want to know who won and why, Miami won. 153 rushing yards for Miami. Ohio State, 45. Oregon, how many rushing yards did they put up? 64, but holy cow, they really kind of throw this whole experiment down the ditch, don't they? I thought they ran it pretty well. 64? How did they win? Well, they won because Dante Moore and their defense. Well, I mean, look, I thought when I watched the game, I thought Oregon ran it all right. They certainly ran it better than Texas Tech. We can say that. We can at least say that. And Cameron Dickey did not run the football very well. Alabama, Indiana, that really helps my example, for sure. Indiana toted the rock 50 times for 215, and Alabama ran it for a smoldering 23 yards. Okay, so if you want to make it to a quarterfinal in a college football playoff, let it be known from the rip. If you can't run the football, stay home. Stay home. We knew going into that game that Alabama could not run the rock for squat. If you picked Alabama to win that game, you had some kind of faith in Ty Simpson or just SEC bias. And as an SEC guy, I had Indiana by 14. And they almost made me look silly, only predicting them to win by that much. Alabama can't run the football. You're going to go into a game already one-dimensional, not even attempting, not even thinking that you're going to run the football for more than 50 yards. Well, it's the same kind of deal for Ohio State, which was really what surprised me. If we're going to go game by game here, Ohio State is, I mean, I think somebody said, a couple of people are calling this a huge upset. Now, I want to give Miami credit. It is an upset. They were the underdog, and they came and took the fight to Ohio State. Credit. Not that big of an upset. I think we all knew, especially after the Big Ten championship, that Ohio State wasn't the same team as last year, right? I think we were surprised by this result. I think I was more surprised with the physicality that Ohio State couldn't match. We knew Miami was physical, but I thought Ohio State was just as physical. And it just wasn't the case Thursday night. And again, if you can't run the football, you're cooked. And Ohio State couldn't run it for anything. I mean, and I just had it, so that's really cool that it just went away. I love it when that kind of stuff happens. No computer today, as you guys can see. I told you I was going to rip this raw, and it's going to seem like rambling after Georgia lost, and that's what it is, exactly what it is. Ohio State, 24 carries for 45 yards. Cooked. You're Ohio State. You got a guy named Bo Jackson leading your backfield. 45 yards? Seriously? You ran it for an average of 1.9 a carry. You never had a shot. Well, what did Miami do? They ran it for 153. Mark Fletcher had another good game, man. He's really impressive. 19 carries for 90 yards. That's going to get it done. It's going to get it done. So Ohio State, I mean, the Julian saying pick six is one thing. I mean, it's kind of like a fluke play. It's infuriating if it happens to you. But, I mean, defensively, Ohio State, you only gave up 17 points. Your defense played pretty good. It was your offense that sucked. And you were made one-dimensional. So as much as, yeah, I mean, the pick six is the big one, so everybody's going to want to blame Julian saying, guy had absolutely no run game. Like zero. And it was on his back all the time. I mean, if we know one thing, gosh, we've seen some really good defensive line play here in this playoff. Between Miami, with Bain and Mesidor? Man, that dude's sick. 5 sacks in that game for Miami, 7 TFLs. Yeah, that'll do it. You're winning. You're going to win that game. It just showed me that. You're going to win that game. They're sick. Ohio State's sick too. With Donaldson, great player. Texas Tech in a loss. Their D-line. David Bailey, sick. Oregon's was better. Unbelievable. Indiana's was really good. Not up to that star put out as the other teams, but really good. And Georgia and Ole Miss, that wasn't really much of a defensive battle. But still, you saw Kristen Miller. You saw Eccles for Ole Miss. Gosh, he got his name called 6-7 times last night. So, all that to say, going forward, guys, as we get into this playoff more and more, years and years go by, let's just if we remember one thing. How about two things? At least for me, I'm going to remember two things. The teams that can't run the ball, I'm just going to hammer the other side. Like, hammer. I don't care if it's Bama. I don't care if it's Ohio State. You can't run the football? See ya. I'll take the alt line next year if I have to. I'm pissed at myself for not betting Miami. Truthfully. And that's not, I think I can say that honestly without just hindsight being 2020. If there was one thing Miami could do all year long, it was run the football. Guys, Carson Beck didn't have to do anything. He didn't do anything. What did he do in that game? 19 completions for 138 yards and 1 touchdown. It was a little pitch out to Mark Fletcher. He did nothing. He didn't have to. So I'm pissed that I didn't bet them because that's what they did all year. They could always run the football, and if Ohio State couldn't, then I should have taken Miami. Props to those of you who did. I knew Bama had no shot, truthfully. You can't run the rock, see ya. I've seen that against Georgia way too many times. Way too many times. So, I mean, look, at the end of the day, as we get to the Final Four here, Oregon can run it well, but Indiana runs it better. Give me Indiana. And the bottom one, I think this is going to be a coin flip here. Ole Miss and Miami, I would be surprised if that line is more than 2 points either way. Either way. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Miami -2. But I would be surprised if it's Miami -3 or greater. Maybe it'll be even. Both those teams can run the ball. Kejuan Lacey's awesome. Awesome. He was the third best player on the field last night in the Georgia-Ole Miss game. It was Trinidad Chambliss, unquestioned number 1. I think Gunnar Stockton was right there at 2, and then it was Lacey. And then Eccles was 4. So that one's going to be real nice. It's going to be a great game. But before I get to next week and the Final Four teams, let me just comment on one thing Indiana-wise and Bama. Gosh, what a contrast we have here with these two coaches. You know, we've talked a lot about on this show in the last couple of weeks because of the whole coaching carousel and actually the last 2 months with all the Lane stuff and all the openings of this year, specifically Penn State and Michigan, that as soon as those jobs opened, it seemed like there were always rumors of Kalen Deboer leaving and going there. Well, of all of the coaches in the SEC, he was the only one rumored to go. Drink wasn't rumored in any of those places. Elko wasn't rumored in any of those places. Kirby sure as heck wasn't rumored in any of those places. So Deboer was really the only one after a year and a half, 2 seasons already, only at Alabama. So I think when the first one came out, and that was obviously Penn State, we figured, well, I mean, that's probably just Jimmy Sexton trying to get the guy raised at Alabama already. Well, I think that may have been true, but the longer that rumor perpetuated itself and kept lingering, and then you throw in the Michigan one and it lingers again, it got to a point where you're thinking, man, does Bama just want to get rid of him already? And I look, and a couple of people have probably said that after you lost to FSU week 1 of the season, right? We got to get rid of DeBoer and all this stuff. That's what we've talked about, that there's a weird kind of section of the Crimson Tide fan base that just doesn't like DeBoer and seems like they never will. Seems like they never will unless he wins them a national championship. And until then, they're going to want him gone. Like not just doesn't like him, wants him gone. And when he beat Alabama beat Oklahoma in the first round last week, I think that vindicated him a little bit. And I think that cooled it off. I thought this kind of dialogue and conversation was going to be over. That Deboer's secure, and not that I ever thought he was going to go anywhere, because he definitely wasn't and never was. Never was. It was never a possibility, but just the conversation itself. I never thought it was legit. Bama fans, I thought it was going to be cooled down, and they would be like, all right, well, he won the first playoff game against Oklahoma on the road, tough environment. We're going to give him a little credit. We're going to chill on the rumors and all this stuff and wanting him out until next year. Well, they're always back. They're all back. Losing that game that way to Indiana, perhaps it might be bigger than ever. Bama fans wanting Deboer out, because it's not only that you lost, you got your teeth kicked in. I don't know, man. It kind of seemed like Bama quit. It kind of seemed like didn't it seem like they kind of gave up? 31-3, and you can't, I'm not talking about Ty Simpson. I'm just saying, Bama under zero circumstances should ever lose by 35 points. Ever. I don't care who's on the other side of the field. I don't care where the game is. I don't care if they're on their fourth string quarterback. Bama should never lose 38-3. So the fact that they did, now all of this stuff on Deboer is back. It's like, and so now I'm trying to figure out if it's deserved or not. The guy won a playoff game, and yet Bama fans still want him out. Now, on the other side, I said these two coaches could not be in two different situations. Cignetti is on top of the world, and rightfully so. But let me just say one thing about Kirk Cignetti. And maybe this seems like sour grapes, because at this point, my team's out and his is still in. Two things can be true at the same time. I want to give Kirk Cignetti all the credit in the world, because it might just be the best coaching job in my lifetime. Period. Any sport. Indiana sucks. They're nothing. They're nobody. And now they're unbeatable. And they look like they're going to just cruise to a national championship. Now, whether that happens, it remains to be seen. But that doesn't, I don't think, discount the coaching job here. It's unbelievable what Cignetti's done. That's true. Here's the other truth. All this sideline fake scowl crap, I think it's fake. It's at a minimum, it's overblown. He knows what he's doing. That's not all legit. He's playing this facade. He's playing this up. This whole Scowl thing. You're trying to be Saban. Forget it. Hey, man, smile. You're up 38-3 in a freaking playoff game. I'm not buying I'm pissed because somebody made a mistake. I'm up 35 points against Bama. I'm not buying this Scowl thing. It's pissing me off. I like Cignetti. The Google me thing, it's all cool. Look, if you win, awesome. And the guy sticks to his guns, and the guy loves being in Indiana. And he could have gone a billion other places this season already. Everybody in the world would have offered him a job and a pay raise, and he stayed there. So credit to him. Genuinely, I like him. But this crap has hit a new level. It's fake. Seriously, man, you're not Nick Saban. And you know it. And you know it. Just be you. I don't think that's you. The guy's eyebrow's going to be stuck in a perplexed and evil villain position while his team's up 35 points. Save it. Maybe I'm the only one. I'm not trying to hate on Cignetti. It seems like a tired act. Seems like a tired act. I don't know. We'll have to wait to see what you guys say. what you guys think. But Indiana, man, is anybody going to beat them? I don't think it's. I don't think so. Where are their holes? What can they not do? I don't know. They don't have any weaknesses. I mean, Mendoza yesterday is 14 of 16 for 203 touchdowns. I think Bama's defense is good. Two incomplete passes? 14 of 16 for Mendoza? And this is not no dink and dunk either. Like, Beck had a 5-yard average for his completions. Mendoza's 12. I bet you Trinidad Chambliss's wasn't that high. 14 to 16 with a 12-yard average per completion, 3 touchdowns, 200 yards against Bama's defense, and made it look so easy. So easy. Number one, that's what happens when you can actually run the ball, Bama. Kalen Black, 15 carries for 100 yards. Roman Hamby, 18 carries for 89 yards. They ran it for 215. And obviously, a lot of that was in the fourth quarter when they were up by 4 or 5 scores. But where are the holes? They got 3 legit receivers. 3 legit receivers. Like, I mean, again, this goes back to the coaching job from Cignetti is, imagine, guys, going into this season, putting up Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams, Horton on one side, Bama's top 3 receivers, and Surratt, Becker, and Omar Cooper on the other. Indiana's receivers were 6 times better than Bama's yesterday. By the way, as a side note, what a time it is that Ryan Williams literally went from like the face of college football almost. He didn't even make the receivers graphic. They put up a graphic of Bama's receivers, about as narrow a search as you can get, and he wasn't on it. He's not even impacting the game. I heard about a 17-year-old literally week in and week out last year. And the guy is making 0 impact on football games now that we're in January. And really didn't do much all year other than a missed tackle that he forced against Georgia. Georgia still can't tackle the guy. Everybody else seems to be able to, but that's neither here nor there, I guess. But yeah, all right. We got 4 teams left. And again, I mean, would anybody be surprised if Indiana lost? No, I don't think so because of everything that's played out so far this season. It would be a fitting end to this year if Indiana lost. Either in the semifinal or the national championship, you could take your pick. The only unfitting or non-fitting end to this year is if Indiana would win. Because they're the favorite, and they look like the favorite. And they look like the only untouchable team left. Miami, we know is touchable. Like, we know their weaknesses. I mean, they lost to freaking mid-tier ACC teams for free on a Friday night. You make Beck beat you, he might. Some nights he's going to play like the best quarterback in college football. But other nights, you make Beck beat you, you'll win by 3 scores. Sometimes they just don't show up. Ole Miss, we know their weaknesses. It's the defense. And Georgia couldn't quite capitalize as much as... I mean, Georgia should have put up 41 in that game easily. And they didn't execute at times. Still put up 34. Well, you should have put up 41 and you would have won the football game. Oregon, turnovers at times, secondary at times. They're gettable. They're very solid. No glaring weaknesses, but still gettable. Well, and then there's Indiana. So the only unfitting thing, again, for this season would be if Indiana won. If Miami, the 10 seed, won it all, that'd be pretty fitting. If Oregon won, that'd be pretty fitting. I will be rooting for Ole Miss. And I tell you what, and I know he would never let it on and all this stuff, but if it were an option, I would pay pay-per-view type money to get a live camera on Lane Kiffin. If he were to actually say what he thinks. He won't, and he's going to continue to tweet out the Trinidad national flag and put out that he's, their biggest fan and their biggest cheerleader and loves them and all this stuff. But deep down, if Ole Miss wins it all, dude, he would be the most pissed person in the world. And the rest of college football, the entire college football nation would stand up and applaud the Rebels. Heck yeah, Rebels. You didn't need them. You didn't need them. Tell them to go to riddance. Pete Golden, we love you. And keep in mind, this is difficult for me to say, given what just happened last night. But, yeah, I'll be rooting for Ole Miss, 100%. 100%. And no, not just because it's SEC. They're who I want to win. Conferences be damned. So, one other note as we wrap this show up today. I hope you've gotten through it with me. This has been therapeutic, so I appreciate it, if nothing less. One other note, the transfer portal is officially open. So that happened at midnight last night. Lane has been tweeting that out, almost a timer for the last couple of days. So there's that. But DJ Lagway is officially in the portal. Jaden Ball is not. So that will be our topic of conversation along with the college football semifinal as we go forward on Stadium Pulse. We'll be keeping an eye on the portal as Florida looks to get a new quarterback, tries to keep their running back. Florida State, they're going to be looking for a quarterback. Hey, Miami, they're going to be looking for a quarterback. We'll see what Georgia does. Could you go get a receiver like Cam Coleman, who announced that he's planning to enter from Auburn? We'll see. But it should be a fun couple of weeks here in college football. Hey, 3 games left. 3 games left, y'all. Best sport in the world still. Hope y'all enjoy it, and hope y'all enjoyed listening and watching Stadium Pulse today. I'm Jason Hamby. We'll do it again soon. Coming up in a couple of minutes, it's the Brent and Austin Show. Brent and Austin will be breaking down the Jags Titans matchup this Sunday. Hopefully not, better not, be the last game in Everbank Stadium this year. Jags win. It's an AFC South title. It's hosting a playoff game 1 week from, or next weekend. Could be Saturday, could be Sunday, could even be Monday night. We'll see. Have a good Friday, everybody.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a